What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we have another regionals recap, and this time around we have Brad, who played the Darkrai, Yveltal, Glade, Archeops deck that we see pretty much everywhere, and he did end up winning the whole tournament, which is pretty amazing, so shout out to him to winning the whole tournament. Now, in the interview, we talk about his whole list, we talk about the changes for Breakpoint, we talk about, like, the one Verbank, how do you beat, say, like, Garbodor, a lot of different questions as well, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and let's see the interview. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're doing a regionals recap this time around. I mean, it looks like we're joined to 3 people, but we're only talking to one person. And who's that one person?
Bradley Curcio. I
Hey,
guess Brandon to William Herman.
there you go. So we're gonna talk to Brad. I mean, if the other two want to talk, they can. I don't care. But we're gonna talk about your performance at St. Louis regionals or Collinsville, Illinois, whatever you want to call it. But what happened to Swiss? How'd it go?
Swiss went actually really well for me. I played against pretty much everything I expected. Vespa Queen, Toad Bats, even a little bit of the Eels decks in a mirror match, and didn't drop a game. I lost to Tyrantrum Bronzong, which I felt like is probably one of the worst matchups. You have the Archeops and everything for it, but they still just one-shot you back to back to back to back every turn pretty quickly. And so it was rough to deal with. And that was my only loss throughout Swiss. I tied with Sableye Garbodor and an Eels deck the first time I played against it because I was still not 100% sure how to play against it. But other than that, it actually went pretty easily.
So you're 6-1-2 day one.
Yeah.
Okay. So going to day two, what happened there?
I started off playing against Xander, playing Hex Quaza, which is quite literally the worst matchup for the deck. So I was expecting to go into day two immediately with a loss, and I knew it was just going to be a tough climb from there. But I got pretty lucky game one. I got a turn one Quaking Punch with an Archeops, and he didn't really have an answer to that, so I was quickly able to 6-0 him. And then second game, his deck did what it was supposed to do and just destroyed me. But then game three, we didn't really have much time left. I opened miserably, and he had the opportunity to turn one me, whiffed it, and then we tied. And for the matchup like that, I'll definitely take the tie over a loss. And then from there, I beat another mirror match. I beat another Toad Bat, and I tied against Bob's Excelgor crazy thing on stream. But after that, it was actually pretty easy. I was able to win the mirror match pretty convincingly, and I won the Toad Bats again, and that was a pretty easy climb to get to the top 8.
Okay, so in top 8, the brackets were like 2 Sableye, a couple Yveltal, then like a Manetric Mewtwo thingy.
Yeah,
What was the one matchup you didn't want to hit?
the Manetric really.
Yeah.
Sableye I was pretty confident against after playing against it in Swiss. I lost one game at Swiss, but then started playing better, won the second game. So after that, I felt like I knew what I needed to do to actually win the game. And then, especially in time, Sableye doesn't do well in time. So I was pretty confident beating either of those, except for Carrington's list was much different. So I knew it was going to be harder, but I knew it was definitely still possible. Vespa Queen was just Vespa Queen. I feel confident in that matchup. In the mirror match, it's Danny. I should be fine. He plays super high, and then against the Manetric, I hadn't played against a Manetric. When I played in Houston, it was the only deck that I struggled against. So I knew I wanted to avoid it if possible. If I had to play against it, I at least had to delay it and maybe Archeops if I really needed to. But I knew it would be probably one of the roughest ones to play against.
Okay, so what happened in top 8?
In top 8, the first game, I start Seismitoad, which you either want to start with Seismitoad or with Baby Yveltal. So I start Seismitoad, immediately just start Quaking Punching as much as I can. He's slowly able to get rid of the energy and confuse me. So I inevitably had to retreat to a Baby Yveltal, start getting the energy back. But then later on in the middle of the game, I had a Seismitoad with like 8 energy on it. So I just went up and started Quaking Punching again, and he literally couldn't do anything. So I won the first game. And then the second game pretty much went the exact same way. After winning the first game, though, I felt like it didn't really matter. I don't think Sableye can win 2 really long games like that. So after I won the first game, I was pretty happy going into the second one. But then I won the second one anyways before time was called. So the exact same strategy.
Alright, so going to top 4, you see that you're paired against another Sableye Garbodor player.
Yep.
Yep, there we go. So how'd that matchup go?
That one was a lot different. The first game, he dominated me. He had a full control of. Okay, so I started with Darkrai, which is not good. He's able to immediately head ringer it and have the Aqua's base and a Garbodor out. So I have to have 3 energy to retreat it. I don't have my free retreating ability, and I'm not going to be able to attack with it. So I slowly was attaching energy to it, trying to retreat it, but every turn he just gets a VS Secret for a Flare Run, and then anything else. A Trick Shovel to control my top deck, and at that point in the game, I lost. But I knew, again, if I win the second game, that I can still win the series because I definitely have the advantage in time. So even though I knew you 100% had the game, I was going to make him play it out to the bitter end. So I did just that. We took an extra, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes just watching him destroy me on stream. And then the second game, I'm able to open with the baby Yveltal and just went with that strategy. Loaded as many energy up as possible, set everything up to do, one shot with Oblivion Wing. And if I needed to reload some energy, I had everything ready to go to just bring it up for both baby Yveltals. Luckily for me, he had prized his life due, which helped a lot. He wasn't able to prevent me from taking prizes at any point. So I was able to take 6 prizes in a decent amount of time going into the third game. And then at that point, I assumed we had maybe like 15 minutes left. So I knew he was going to have to completely lock me and not let me take even one prize to, win the game. But unfortunately for him, his deck kind of crapped out on him, and I was able just to kill 3 Shamans in like a quick 6 turns, and he had literally no answer to that. So it worked out perfectly, and I knew I was on my way to finals.
All right. So in the finals, you're playing against the Vesically Flareon deck, and you said you felt pretty confident in it. So what happened in the finals?
Actually, in the finals, it was weird because the first game, my opening hand was good. I was able to get a decent amount of Pokemon out, Dark Patches. I'd be able to Shaman for 6, but he opens Wobbuffet. So my decent hands immediately was awful. I was forced to just literally attach and pass. And with his start, the Wobbuffet was slowing him down too. He wasn't able to do anything. So he has to Chorus for 3 and hits 3 dead cards. I get really lucky, top deck of Juniper, blow up on him. A few turns later, I'm able just to set everything up, and he's just sitting there behind the Wobbuffet, not really being able to do anything. So I'm able to, take everything out before he's even able to get off an attack, and he has to concede. The second game went a lot better. I got a turn 1 Archeops, and he unfortunately made the mistake of setting up a Wobbuffet when he wasn't able to do anything. He thought he'd be able to evolve Pokemon, but he had nothing to follow up with it. So he has to waste a double colorless to retreat, and then I'm able to. So he has to do that after I believe he Sycamored away DC earlier on in the game as well. I'm able to KO the Eevee on the bench that had a DC, so he's stuck with 1 for the rest of the game. And he has no Eevees left to get a Flareon to even Blacksmith. So when he's finally able to attack with a Vessel Queen, like 4 turns later, all I had to do was knock that out, and he had absolutely no other way to attack with energy, so it worked out heavily in my favor that way.
Well, there you go. And then you won the whole regional championship. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
I thought it was funny in top 4, in like the way we were sitting up in the front row. It was like all Missouri people, and then everybody else behind like cheered for you. So it was like, say bye would like flip a coin. If it was heads, the front row would like start screaming, and if it tails, like the back row would start screaming. It was pretty
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the screaming when I trainers mailed into the Lysander off of it because that was game, and I heard everybody start screaming. It felt pretty good.
Thought that was cool. But I mean, you played pretty much I guess a standard Yveltal Archeops deck, but you don't play any Hoopa. So why the no Hoopa?
I understand the reasoning for Hoopa. You're able to get everything out as quickly as possible. If you Hoopa turn 1, you can get your Jirachi for tech supporter, or just the Shaman to draw cards, Darkrai, Yveltal, Keldeo, whatever you want. But I never liked it because I always filled up my bench with actual useful Pokemon, and if the Hoopa's on the bench, it's just sitting there as a complete waste. Same with like Jirachi, I hated using it, but at least like with Shaman, you could attack with it if you absolutely had to, or to like fill up the bench space. But with Hoopa, it's just there for the rest of the game, limiting your potential plays later on. And I didn't play an easy or anything, which is the one thing I do regret. So I wouldn't even be able to pick it up if necessary. So in a lot of matches, I felt like it was just a liability, and I never struggled having to get out of Pokemon if I really needed to. So the Hoopa was just kind of like an extra thing that just didn't feel necessary to me.
Okay. Now, you also only played one Verbank in your deck, but no Douse Machine to get it back if it was discarded for some reason.
Yep.
So, what was the reason behind that?
The one Burbank, in certain matchups, you really only need the laser like 1 or 2 times for the extra 30 damage for it to be relevant. Or in mirror match or size of toad or something like that, when you want to use it frequently, they're going to play it for you anyways. So you can still be the first one to play it, but it's not going to get knocked out. The only reason I really wanted it as well is to knock out like the aqua bases or silent labs occasionally. So I would still have the one just in case, but I never really honestly needed the second. If I were to play another stadium, I would probably play more than one copy of it because I want it to stay in play. With the Burbank, you can get the immediate value out of it, play the laser the same turn, or if you need it multiple turns, a lot of times the decks will play it for you.
All right. Now, I know that Danny only played one Darkrai, but you played the two Darkrai. How helpful was that?
Two Darkrai is amazing. I honestly use Night Spear more than I use Evil Bolt or Wise Cycling combined. Dark Spear is just so good against so many different decks. It's good against Vespiquen Flareon, it's good against Eels. It's literally good against every deck. Yveltal is still necessary because it's amazing versus Size and Toad, and of course it's amazing in the mirror match. But outside of those two matchups, I would almost always go for Darkrai over Yveltal.
Okay. So, I have an interesting question. If somebody flips over a Toad, do you immediately try to go for the Archeops or the Glade turn one? Like, how do you determine like which one to go for?
If they flip over a Toad, I would. I guess it kind of depends. If I don't know anything about their deck and I'm going first, I would probably just get the Gallade because even in matchups like where you want the Archeops the most, like I guess Eels or Vespiquen Flareon, the Vespiquen decks probably aren't going to play Toad. The Eel decks could, but even if they do, Gallade is still really good in those matchups. And Gallade in general is just really good. So I'd probably go for the Gallade over the Archeops. And for the fact that if it's a Toad deck, manipulating your top deck with 5 cards instead of just one helps tremendously because you don't have to worry about top decking like an Ultra Ball or a Via Seeker. You can put what you actually want to top deck, like a Sycamore or an Energy, on top of your deck, which helps a lot against the Toad.
All right.
Or
That's true. All right. So, going into this weekend, are you going to any regionals coming up?
yeah, I'm going to Florida.
Okay. So, how does Breakpoint affect Yveltal? Does it make it better? Does it give you new cards from Breakpoint, do you think?
Fighting Fury Belt is interesting. I'm not 100% sure if it's better than Muscle Band or not, but otherwise, it's still Yveltal. There's no reason it's going away. It is still going to be a play as long as it exists and in a format. So I don't see it changing. Any other deck that's coming out, like it's inherently decent against Sableye already, and so there's that reason to play it. A lot of people want to play Toad because Toad beats Sableye, and Yveltal's good against Toad as well. So, and Yveltal can play its own Toad to beat Sableye. So I don't see it changing. I don't see the lists changing very much. I would probably change a few cards. I definitely play the AZ, but other than that, I really don't see why Yveltal would be going anywhere. From at this point on, the basic standard Yveltal lists have already been almost perfected within like 5 cards. People will change a few cards here and there, but the standard Yveltal list is just so good, and that's not going to change anytime soon.
Okay. So, you talked about how good of a matchup Sableye is, and there's some people who say, you just Oblivion to a Toad, just load a bunch of energies, or you cycle between two baby Yveltals. What's your favorite method to go about to do this?
Honestly, cycling into the Toad usually is the best because as soon as especially now with Puzzle of Time, since that's going to be the main thing they're wanting to get, if you just quaking punch them, they can't do anything. Like when they're playing the Puzzle of Time, they're going to play 3-ish copies of Flare Grunt and 1 or 2 Zerosic. So if you're able to, have so many energy and able to load energy every single turn, if they run out of Flare Grunts and Zero-6, they do not have an answer anymore. They're going to have to rely on confusing you. And if they're stuck to do that, they're in a really bad position. So I usually like going for the Toad option. I will definitely start off with the Toad option because it'll slow them down, make them burn a lot of resources, trying to get rid of the energy. And then afterwards, when they're already in a bad position, you can start reloading the energy back up with the baby Yveltal, so you can continue doing the lock, and they will eventually not be able to do anything about it.
Okay, cool. So, how many championship points are you at right now?
Before Worlds, I think I'm at 395,
Okay. And
just under 400.
what are you gonna say?
Just under 400, yeah.
Okay. So, how many championships do you think you need for top 16?
Before Nats, probably 550, and after Nats, I think it was 650, is what everybody's been telling me. That's what Brandon told me. That's what Keon told me. So I'll trust their instincts.
Okay.
They
All
didn't
right.
get to the process scene before. I just kind of watched.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, these two and Max are the biggest people that I test with. They're the ones I talk about the most with decks. And well, William decided to play a bad deck, but Brandon and Max both played the exact same 60 card Yveltal list with me, and both made day two, so it worked out really well.
What did Willie end up playing? What bad deck was
Uh,
it?
Raichu backs, but his name is Ryan Tablehouse, so it's definitely not going to work.
Fair enough. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully, you'll get another. Maybe you'll get another win, back-to-back win.
I'll take it.
Yeah, same. All right, man. Well, take care. Good luck this weekend, and thanks for everybody watching. Hope you have a great day. All right, bye.